Anybody who believes that what Kenya needs to develop is a benevolent dictator is a fool. Look at the dictators we are trying to talk about, the dictators that steered their countries into prosperity. Most of them came from the Asian tigers: Taiwan, Hong Kong, Singapore, and South Korea. Look at Lee Kuan Yew of Singapore, Park Chung of South Korea. Yes, they were dictators, but they steered their countries to prosperity, both economically and socially. And then you boil down to the dictators of Africa. Because believe me, when you encourage benevolence in dictatorships, it is not automatic that you're going to get a Park Chung or a Lee Kuan Yew. Why are you ignoring or downplaying the fact that we may get an Hitler kind of dictator? Look at Africa. Majority of the rulers that we have in Africa are dictators. Most of them run authoritarian governments. Look at the Central African Republic, the Ashank Tudera. Look at the president of Eritrea. And then you go down to the Salva Kiirs of Sudan and the Dabis of Chad. What instrumental development have those dictators brought to their countries? Look at our neighbor here in Uganda, Museveni, who has been in power for, I think, 40 years. Can you look at Uganda and admire it? And what makes you think that, assuming Kasongo was that benevolent dictator you're talking about, what convinces you that he's not going to turn like Museveni or the Tudera of Central Republic of Africa or the Salva Kiirs of Sudan or the Dabis of Chad? And that you're so convinced that somebody who cannot follow the path that Singapore and the Asian tigers followed to achieve the economic prosperity that we have today, that for some reason he cannot follow those policies. He cannot, do away with corruption and just form a government that works for the citizens. But for some reason you believe that if people like Kasongo are given chance, they are going to become good, benevolent dictators like the Lee Kuan Yews and the Park Chungs of Singapore. It cannot happen. Do not encourage something you are not willing or something that cannot be reversed. Because if we encourage dictatorships here in Africa, or especially in Kenya, you cannot reverse. The dictators of Africa plunder resources. They loot. They oversee massive corruption. They crash institutions. By the time they are done with the countries they lead, those countries are crushed to dust, and the citizens normally become subjects. So we should not be having this all discussion about benevolence dictatorships in Africa. They don't work. And even in places where we thought they will work, most of those people end up in exile. They end up badly. Dictatorship is poison, and we should treat it exactly like that.